Gentlemen, another one of my former partners, one of the original crew there at ESPN Radio. We've had Keith on. We've got to get Chuck Wilson on. I haven't had Chuck on.
I know. He's killing trees as we speak.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Brown, put your hands together. Now, you worked in Philly too, did you not?
Yes, I did. I worked at WIP.
I told Harry you were at another Chuck Cooperstein. You know how many people from WIP? Exactly, man.
I mean, you have had more partners, I think, other than Will Chamberlain.
No, about the Kardashians. I'm still not up to the Kardashian level or Ben Simmons yet. How many partners? It's
No,
impossible. No. Now, so you're out of radio. You've had enough.
Yes. I've had enough. I mean, I could be enticed back with the right deal. You know, if I were to work with you again, that's a whole different story.
I don't know if we can make that happen.
I don't know. We were the three of us was the greatest show in radio history.
Me, you, and Chuck Wilson?
That's right, from a bathroom or whatever. I mean, ESPN's a multi-million-dollar corporation. It's smaller than my closet.
It's smaller than this studio. This studio right here is bigger than what we were sitting in when we started
with
ESPN.
Three people.
With 3 people. And then we would bring a guest in every once in a while and slide in another chair back in the day.
Exactly. We have to hide. One of us would have to hide underneath the desk.
Now, Peter, I got a great question because this is the one people always ask me. The thing that we used to do that everybody loved, and it was you who did this, was it's a final now.
That's right. We were the starters.
And you know why? He was the guy who did it, though, because
we don't get credit for Stone Cold Locks. We don't get credit for it's a final. We don't get credit for anything.
And you got to tell people why you used to say it's a final, because back then, remember, this is 1992, 93. So, you know, you had Sports Phone if you wanted to get updated scores.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
absolutely.
Unless you're watching the game at home from a city that you're in. You know, you couldn't get the scores everywhere.
But even then, there was no, satellite. There was no, 30 different channels.
Exactly. But Peter was still able to get action on baseball, football, basketball, anything that was available, Harry. And we'd have the games on up above. And when a game ended, Peter Brown was the first to exclaim to the entire nation,
"It's a final, baby."
Exactly. And you could tell when he won. Well, actually, when he'd lost, he would never scream, "It's a final now."
No, you wouldn't hear a word.
He would proceed then to rip the manager or the pitcher or the guy who struck out, which kept him from winning that particular wager.
Well, that's what you do.
Without a doubt, my best hero is the guy that went and attacked the guy on the mound when he gave up 2 runs to lose the game.
Long before Brent Musburger was telegraphing who he had when he was doing a college football game on ABC and ESPN, everybody knew who Peter Brown had back in the early 90s on ESPN Radio.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, it was clear who the winner was.
January 4th, 1992.
Yeah, that's when we started.
That was the day.
Exactly right. Up there in Bristol, Connecticut.
Wow.
Now, Peter, you worked in Philly. It's amazing how many people worked in Philly and moved on. Chris Russo was working in Philly at WIP, and they didn't think he was good enough. Luckily, that was the best decision ever for him because he went to New York and became a Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Right.
Right. What happened to us?
What happened to me?
Downhill ever since.
No, I went out to, started ESPN, started Fox Sports Radio. So I'd say I've done all right, I think, probably, maybe.
Frivolous for everybody.
Peter Brown now, Chicago. What's going on in the Chicago? Do you even pay attention to sports other than the lines?
No, I mean, if there's not a line on it, I mean, the authority on Australian rules football.
Have you been betting?
I'm a Sidney Swan expert.
Were you betting Ukrainian table tennis before they took it off
Yes,
the board?
They better start up soon. I mean, there better be some sort of college football or baseball or anything to keep me going.
You know that in New Jersey you're not allowed to bet on the Ukrainian table tennis because 7 of the players, 7 of the players have been accused of fixing the game.
Shaving.
How can you? What is this? Highlight? Highlight.
No, my favorite part was there was the game in Russia, and 6 of the guys were sick, but nobody could find that out because it's in Russia.
Right.
And they were like an underdog, and they played a U18 team of left guys, and they lost 10-1. You could have won big if I didn't know that information.
Now, you like, Harry, are you in fantasy golf leagues and play all these different guys?
No. Is there money in that? No.
What do you mean is there money in that? Our guy on the couch here, Colin Farrell, he's making beaucoup bucks betting on the weekend golf action.
I will be releasing my picks come
NASCAR,
this Wednesday. We're making money hand over fist.
Can you hear Peter? Now, he can't hear Peter. So he says there's no money.
No.
There's no money in it. Why is this guy betting? He said he makes thousands of dollars.
Sure.
Thousands of dollars. I can make that in seconds on Australian rules football.
Now, who's a hot squad right now?
Oh, right now, Geelong is a hot squad. Geelong and Melbourne are the two hot squads.
See, Harry, you thought you
I'm
were a
nothing.
gambling degenerate.
Oh, no, he doesn't compare degenerate-wise with me.
I'm a
kidding?
lightweight compared to this guy.
Now, what do you do? Seriously, I mean, what else do you bet right now? Sitting at home in Chicago.
No, I've been betting Australian rules football.
What about the
I've
Korean
been betting
baseball?
Premier League soccer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, those are the two main things right now. And then baseball comes in 2 weeks, so that'll be good.
Maybe.
Although you won't know whether the pitcher's going to go more than 3 innings because
Right.
you got the coronavirus in between going into the dugout and coming back out again.
Now, what else is going on? You don't bet on like auto racing or
No, I only do individual, team sports.
it's unbelievable, man. Whatever happened to
It's
you,
a joke.
man?
It's
Whatever
bogus.
happened to you?
So why'd you get out of sports radio?
It got out of me. I mean, when I left Sporting News Radio, I didn't want. I don't. My traveling the country. That's enough already. I've done that. I'm in my 50s now. I can't travel. I got kids. I got things going on.
You're in your 50s now and you can't travel?
I can't travel. I got two people that, who are they going to pick on if I'm not here?
Well, that's true too. There's plenty of
I
people
mean,
to pick on. There's plenty of people.
Now,
My
did
wife would have to find some other idiot to complain about.
Did he work for our old boss too?
Matt Nahagan?
I
No.
work probably for everybody.
Matt was at Sporting News, I
Right.
think, when you were. Was it Matt Nahagan, our former boss?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
at Sporting News, yes. He's out in San Francisco now.
But wasn't he still a producer at the time?
Yeah, Matt was a
Yeah.
producer, and then he became the program director, and now he's out in San Francisco.
Right. Then they moved to California, then to Houston, then to 40 different other places. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing about I've been fortunate. I haven't really had to move my family around. I mean,
Right.
when I moved to L.A., my kids were already grown and out of school. They were in their 20s, so I didn't have to pick up. And when I worked at ESPN, I would commute up to Connecticut and back. So
Right, and so did I. Right, from Chicago,
Exactly.
because I lived in Chicago for the last 20 years.
now Chicago sports, other than the Bears, who obviously everybody talks about, is anybody excited about the Cubs, the White Sox? I mean, the Bulls
The
aren't
White
even.
Sox are like an intriguing team because they're young. I mean, the notion is that they've got all this talent that they got for trading Chris Sale to Boston, and they're like an up-and-coming team. They're the up-and-comer. The Cubs are on the way down, so more people are jumping on the White Sox bandwagon than they are the Cubs.
But don't the Cubs have the more die-hard fans who show up no matter what, except 85%
Oh, yeah.
of
I
the
mean,
people? Except when
they're
Lee
always
Elia
gonna
was
be
there.
because they're on the north side.
Except when Lee Elia was there, when you remember 85% of the people working,
right.
the other 15% come out here. It's a playground for
Exactly.
the bleepers. One of the greatest
Now it's
tirades.
85% of it at the games and 50% at jobs.
Who needs a job when you can just get free money from the government? Peter
Exactly
Brown,
right.
Peter Brown in Chicago. Now, what about your Chicagoland area Bears?
Well, it's that big battle between Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. I mean, could the battle be any worse? It's not exactly Montana versus Steve Young.
How about the room, though? The room, I hear, the quarterback room there is really, really good.
Yeah, everybody likes each other. Nick Foles is happy to have the contract he's got. I got news for you.
Well, who isn't?
Yeah.
I mean, look, these are the bigger idiots that gave Mike Glennon $18 million.
I know. Remember that?
I mean,
deal?
Mike Glennon was 1-7 with the Buccaneers, so they decided let's get him for $17 million. I could use my feet and throw more touchdown passes than Mike Glennon.
Wow. This is the kind of sports insight you're missing now that Peter Brown's not on the air.
Exactly right.
And we
you
used
don't
to get
that
punch drunk.
lollipop, suck up, normal, everything you get these days. He's the greatest player ever. Did you watch the golf thing on NBC this weekend?
Harry does. Harry's
Well,
religious.
no, I was watching the CBS.
Oh,
golf.
what's the American Century
Yeah,
one?
that's
Or
it.
the,
I mean, if you didn't think that Dan Hicks wanted to have Pat Mahomes' baby, you're crazy.
well, who doesn't? I want to have
I
his
mean,
baby.
it's ridiculous.
I want to have his baby. Then I can get an
Well,
inheritance
yeah,
at
for
least.
$70 million, I guess
Exactly.
I could do the dirty deed.
Tony Romo dropped out due to an injury.
He did. I didn't
Yeah,
see it. I
he
was.
dropped out on Saturday.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why my boy Marty Fish went on fire?
And Marty Fish.
Yeah, Marty Fish played well.
Kyle Williams, the former defensive tackle for the Bills, finished second.
What happened to Mark Mulder and all those guys?
Smoltz was third.
well, Smoltz is always
Smoltz
good.
was
man.
third.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And I
man.
think Steph Curry was fourth.
Yeah, Steph Curry actually could play.
He's good.
I like those two drips, Tom Brady and the other guy. What was that dreck that was on TV? Tiger Woods and, Nicholson. It was awful.
Nah, but at least that was more
I
entertaining.
thought it was pretty good.
The one before it was the one that was the worst.
You know how many lessons that Tom Brady's taken? He can't hit the ball 50 yards.
Yeah, he was terrible. The first 7 holes, he did nothing.
Oh, he was brutal.
Yeah.
If only Belichick had been there to be able to give him a better lay of the land and to tell him where the ball was going to go.
Give him some illegal wedges.
Exactly.
Yeah, and inflate the golf balls to the proper PSI.
That was the problem. Not enough inflation.
Well, we tracked you down, man. There's no pictures of you on the internet. You may as well have just disappeared.
Yeah.
I know. I might as well rob a bank. No one would catch me.
It's like he's in a witness protection
Exactly.
program.
How come there's no pictures of you on the internet?
Who I am.
How can there be no pictures on the internet?
Not a single one.
No Wikipedia
I'm
page.
underappreciated in my time. That's why.
Do we even have Wikipedia? Can the police come after you if you didn't pay like a
No, well, I don't want that. I mean, again, it's like Russell Westbrook. Do you think that the coronavirus test is the only test he's failed in the NBA?
Well, I know he's failed the fashion test by most people who could never wear that stuff.
Yeah, but now they're not.
Has anybody checked to see if he's legally blind?
Now they're not going to be able to wear that stuff.
I know.
They're going to have to get
No,
dressed.
they will now. They just voted today they'll be able to dress as they wish.
Is this breaking news?
Yeah,
because Harry was telling me
they can now have their own fashion show.
Yeah, because how can we watch an NBA game without guys with headsets strolling in, wearing the craziest outfits you'll ever see and trying to sell a new pair of headphones to the American
that's what they're going to do. They fought hard for that. This is NBA. They fought. They want to make sure they can be fashion statements and market their brand.
All right, here
so
it
much
is.
for the there it is.
This was an hour ago.
See, Peter Brown's on top of it. Breaking news.
Yeah,
it's a final now. Russell Westbrook.
It's a final, baby.
All of a sudden,
sweatsuits are out.
He will miraculously say, "I'm ready to come down tomorrow." Now that he can be able to bring his entire tractor trailer loaded with all the different ensembles he's going to be dropping down in Disney.
Exactly right.
NBA players now have the freedom to wear their own clothes when walking from the team bus into the facilities. Initially, the NBA confirmed that it would require players to get dressed for games in their hotel rooms. Starting.
Yeah, they still have to shower in their hotel rooms, but they can dress how they like.
Wow.
How about that?
So that just changed.
Who runs the league, Harry?
The players.
No. China.
China runs the league.
As long as
they'll be making all the fashions, by the way. As well.
Exactly. All their clothes will be from China. The headsets will be from China. Everything will be from China. Jeez. Didn't you think?
I mean, that's so important that the NBA players, they want to feel comfortable before they, play.
And here's the thing that got me over the weekend. Peter Brown, who's with us here, is all these people, because Disney opened down there in Disney World. And obviously they're not letting a gazillion people in, and they're social distancing and all that stuff. Nobody cleans up a joint better than Disney. So they're not going to open up. They're the most PC company in the world. So people are ripping Disney World for reopening. Meanwhile, the NBA players are out there getting loose. They're fishing. They're doing all the stuff. What's the difference? It's Disney. You're supposed to go. Why would they bring the players down there if they were worried about players dying when people are going into Disney World, who, by the way, have to pay to go in and make the decision and have to wear a mask? That's the insanity.
However,
of
Disney
this
World not exactly doing well on TripIt for showing, Rajon Rondo showing the rooms and the food. That is not exactly helping the Disney beach.
Yes, it is, because that's where people go. It's not the Motel 6. This guy's used to staying in a stinking Ritz-Carlton in the Four Seasons. Yeah. That's what families go to Disney. Muckety mucks don't go there.
What do you expect for $189 a night?
It's ridiculous, man. Why would
the mouse is loose?
You don't think families are still going to go to the boardwalk and all those facilities down there because Rajon Rondo, who can't hit a side of a bull in the ass with a fistful of rice? Jesus, man. Oh, honey, we can't go to Disney. I know we wanted to go. I know the kids wanted to go. Rajon Rondo doesn't like the accommodation.
He gave it a 1-star rating.
Oh, great. You know what I give him a rating
Rondo
of?
Review.
He's -8. The guy's not even going to be able to play. He broke his stinking thumb.
On his shooting hand.
On his shooting hand, which no one would even know if he were out there with a cast.
He could wear a splint on that hand and still shoot the same percentage.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he could wear a mask over his eyes and still shoot the same.
This is the kind of sports talk people don't get anymore, Harry.
Exactly. All right.
They don't. I mean, how about the Eagle guy who said he can't put food on his table? He wants more money in the quarantine.
Who was that?
That Max guy. What Max? I can't remember. I don't even know who he is.
There was a guy on the Eagles who said he needs more money?
Yeah, the other day said he wants extra money if he plays because he's afraid of the virus and bring it to his family. I have to put food on my table and make sure that I are exposed to this.
Now, people are noticing your splint now. You're wearing a splint. I didn't even notice it.
No, yeah, I broke Rajon. In honor of Rajon Rondo, I broke my hand.
With the right, is that your shooting hand?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that the hand you
use? It wasn't my marital hand, otherwise I'd be in real trouble.
Is it the hand you used to call the bookie to get action in on the
No,
Australian
I made sure that when I fell on my right hand. Much like quarterbacks who don't want to get their throwing arms busted, I made sure I landed the other way.
Aren't you disappointed, though, that they didn't have the Consolation League games out there in Chicago so you could go watch
Yes,
them?
I wanted those. The eight teams that no one's ever heard of before. I mean, what says excitement than Pistons Bulls on a Thursday night?
Come on, man. That's big-time stuff out there.
Man. I know. The only thing good about that is that it would be just like normal, no fans.
Draft position is at stake, man. There's a lot at stake.
Yeah, the players really care about where their team's going to finish in the draft selection.
Right. So they can take some kid out of Kentucky that played 12 games.
Yeah. Hey, if the kid played out of Kentucky is Zion, you take him.
Well, yeah.
Not every other Kentucky kid can play.
That's right. Even the guy who sits on the 12th man is better than most players.
All right, what's the Redskins' new nickname?
It's Redskins, all right? I actually bought Redskin merchandise today.
I bet you everybody's out buying it. Most of the jerseys don't even say Redskins.
No, they don't.
They don't even say that.
No, although I did buy one with the logo.
Oh, you did? How much now?
Yeah, I made sure that it had the logo.
Are they flying off the shelves on Amazon? I mean,
because think of this. I mean, you're now going to have what? The Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles against the Red Wolves? That's weak.
It is weak, man.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of getting
in 80 years, and it's funny because ESPN.com on their front page had the picture of the people protesting.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't get a good card game. There were 9 people there. Nobody cared about this nickname.
Phillip Rivers has more kids than the people that showed up.
Oh, see, if this were not 2020, and we didn't have the George Floyd stuff, would we still have the Redskin nickname? Absolutely.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Now
and
now the Washington Post is saying that the Texas Rangers name is the next to go. We got pompous douchebags sitting at stinking newspapers who don't know whether a ball is inflated or stuffed. Women telling people now that the Texas Rangers are racist.
That's right. I'm going out and making sure that my family boycotts the Cleveland Browns because we don't want our name associated with a team that sucks so bad.
Exactly right. Named after a man. How do we know?
Right.
Paul Brown.
Exactly.
Well, the Cincinnati
How do we
Bengals.
know Paul Brown didn't do terrible things?
He thought they sucked so bad he went to Cincinnati.
Exactly right.
That's right.
You're not from Cleveland. You're from Cincinnati.
That's Sam Weiss.
That's right.
It's the late, great Sam Weiss back in the day, man. Wow.
I mean, look, I understand certain things, but I don't think there are people today on reservations around this country whose problems have changed one iota because the Redskins are no longer the Redskins.
No, they got casinos and they're making money. You're talking about reparations.
It's a first world issue.
Exactly. Listen, if I feel like I'm oppressed, will I get a free reservation to build a casino and not have to give the money to the government?
Casino? Do I get my money back?
Exactly. Now, Bob, people are wondering whether your hand is broken because you didn't pay Nunzio, and he came in and a guy came in.
He tried to break his thumb.
Broke your thumb,
I did, because I had Port Adelaide the other night. They were up 28-8, and in typical fashion, they blew the lead.
Wow.
The bed bug came and took his thumbs.
Came calling.
Wait a minute. You could blow a 28-8 lead in Australian rules football?
Yeah, because the mark is 6 points every time you score.
I could have seen. I wish I was there watching that game with him.
Oh,
28.
And it was late at night too. Nothing says go to sleep like losing a 28-8 lead.
What time was that game on Chicago time that you were watching?
10:45, so 11:45 your time.
What are they? The Atlanta Falcons?
They are.
Jesus.
What did you lay? What'd you have? Were they the favorite?
Yeah, it was like they were minus 118.
How many times have I told you always bet the dog in the Australian rules league? You always got to take the money, man.
I wasn't thinking of the Bruno test.
We got people on Twitter asking for the bogus segment.
The bogus segment was so 80s and 90s, man. You just can't keep.
But so good.
I know things come back, and I'm going to bring it back.
Everything comes back.
I'll bring it back in 2024 if I'm still here. How about that?
Okay.
Jesus.
If you're still here, that would be bogus.
Yes, it would. Oh, man. You can blow a 60-point lead in the AFL? Is that true?
Yeah, you can blow anything. It's terrible.
Now, Robin doesn't like Aussie. She likes the other one, the Aussie footy rules.
Oh, it's awesome.
That is the same thing.
There's slightly different
No, it's
rules.
a different league. It's not just like
It's
rugby.
beautiful.
But-
The ball bounces and then they hit it with their hand.
Oh,
it's the greatest thing ever.
It's like a combination of soccer, rugby, and gymnastics.
And kill the carrier when you were a little kid.
And you see any of those guys getting in scrums worrying about are they wearing masks? But I haven't watched any of the games.
No, they haven't worn masks at all. And they're climbing each other's backs to get the ball. They're doing all kinds of things.
They barely wear shirts.
And the only
it's
time they're
fantastic.
social distancing was there's a mark because you got to stay 10 meters back when the guy catches the ball.
Wow. I need to stay up late anymore.
You do. Especially without a pole and without a bar.
Exactly. Well, like we have our wine cellar here, man. We pour every day on this show. It's a good thing about doing this on satellite. We don't have to worry about any of this crap.
Yeah,
man.
no program director.
No rules.
Coming in and yelling at you.
No micromanaging.
I would come back for that.
Would you come back?
No more can I see you sex?
No more what?
Can
I see you a second?
No more. Nobody coming in during the break. Hey, you know what, guys? You really shouldn't have done that. You just should have kept it. Let's get it back to the Eagles.
Right.
Let's get it back to the Bears.
No, see, this is like old time radio. You can't do that.
Damn right, man.
I used to love that when the producer and the final break, would come across the intercom and say, "Matt wants you to stop by his office."
Yeah, exactly.
After the show.
Why don't you stop by
and
my
it was always
office?
good news.
Yeah.
Here, you're getting a raise today.
Right. Right.
All right, so if we got a bet now until we get hockey, baseball, and football back, Aussie rules football.
Yeah, let me look what we got coming up. Hold on, let me
Good or
check
bad
my,
now. In your packing order of, I got a couple of $100 burning a hole in my pocket. H&R Block's going to send me $200 on a refund.
I don't know. The last time I saw you bet, I watched the Texas Rangers play the Minnesota Twins, and I saw the shortstop drop the ball, and you go underneath the table. So I don't know.
That was the last time I actually made a bet on baseball.
That may have been the greatest night ever.
Yeah, I made a bet. I quit betting on baseball as a result of what? Because baseball's the worst sport to bet on.
We made him bet baseball, and the Twins
worst.
are playing the Rangers, and the ball went up. The guy dropped it, and Tony went under the table.
Exactly right, man.
For like 20 minutes, not like for 5 seconds.
So you always bet on St. Kilda? Is that the team down there?
No, so the next game coming up is Geelong against Collingwood. That's a good game, actually.
Collingswood, that's right
across the
river.
bridge. Yeah, right over
there
the Walt Whitman.
With the Australian accent.
Yes.
They're -4.5, -112.
Jeez.
There's some good games this week.
Good game.
Now we have somebody on the Twitch stream saying, Just Incredible says, don't bet on DeLong. They'll screw you.
The Collingwood Magpies. The Collingwood
Magpies. They're the underdog. I'm taking the Bruno factor here.
Magpies. That's got to be racist somehow. I mean, have you looked into the history of Australia and the Aboriginal people? There's got to be some racist sports names down there, aren't there?
Because remember, Magpies were in Song of the South, and Heckle and Jekyll are magpies.
Exactly right. You see this kind of knowledge?
That's got to be racist.
Heckle and Jekyll are magpies, Harry.
That's a bird, right?
Yeah. And Song of the South, they just took that out of the Disney Splash Mountain ride.
That's right. It's now Princess and the Frog or whatever.
That's good knowledge, man. See this? You're not getting this on the sports show.
This is kind of inside knowledge. You found out that NBA players can wear their same dress that they wear all the time?
How about the Essendon Bombers? Have they been good to you?
No, I haven't played them yet because they had a rivalry game the other day and I didn't play.
Can you name any of the players on any of these teams?
No, that I can't. I do know there's a guy from America, though, who played basketball at Oklahoma State.
There you have it right there.
But I can't tell you what team he plays for.
Is it this guy?
I'm a man! No, it's not Mullethead, no.
Did he have an
Doug Gottlieb.
Did he have an OAN shirt on while he was playing in Australia?
How about that's the most expensive shirt in the history of the United States? That's a $6.5 million
T-shirt. I got a free T-shirt, and all I had to pay was $6.5 million. I got the show for.
Right. And 1-year contract.
Exactly right. Eddie Betts is the big star for Carlton. That's my buddy. What the
Carlton's
Fauci?
Not playing this weekend.
What the Fauci on the Twitch stream. One of our followers. What the Fauci, which has to be the best name on the Twitch stream right now.
It's a good one.
Hey Peter, it's great catching up with you, man. We could talk all day.
You got it, bud.
Well, stay in touch, man. You'll be in touch. We'll be in touch, like they used to say. Barbara Walters on the
2020.
2020, exactly.
That's right. As long as you stay 6 feet from me, I'll be in touch.
Beautiful, man.
I know where you've been. That's why.
Exactly.
At Peter Brown YSR on Twitter.
At Peter Brown YSR.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist anymore. Pretty much like everything else in this world. Peter, we'll talk to you soon, man. There he is.